Everyone in that village knew about Blackthorn Manor, the decaying mansion at the edge of the moors. Wrapped in mist and overgrown ivy, the house had been abandoned for half a century, ever since the Morven family disappeared without a trace. Yet, strange things still happen in the said Blackthorn Manor after dark. Locals told stories of lights flickering in the attic windows when the moon was full, the sound of a piano playing in the dead of night. A traveler claimed to hear a woman humming a lullaby from the second floor, long after the house was supposed to be empty. But no one dared get close. Until Thomas came. He wasn't from that village. He was a historian, tall, skeptical, and endlessly curious. He had spent years collecting tales of haunted places and lost families. Blackthorn Manor was just another story to him, another myth to demystify. He arrived on a foggy October afternoon, just as the sun began to sink behind the hills. The house loomed in front of him like a corpse, its walls blackened with rot, its roof sagging under decades of rain and snow. But the windows, they were intact. And they watched him. Thomas lit a lantern and stepped through the gate. The path was swallowed in weeds. Branches scraped across the cracked stone steps. The front door, though swollen with age, creaked open with a deep groan, as though it hadn't been touched in years. Inside, the air was raw. It was warm. Dust hung in the air like mist, but the floor was clean, the furniture neatly arranged, covered only in thin sheets. The chandelier above swayed ever so slightly, though there was no wind. Thomas moved cautiously through the rooms, scribbling notes. A sitting room with a fireplace that still smelled faintly of burnt wood. A dining table set with rusted silverware. Family portraits that had not faded with time. Then he heard a whisper of women. Right beside his ear. He's here. He spun, lantern raised, but saw nothing. Shaken, he pressed forward, blaming the house's acoustics. Old walls could play tricks, after all. But then came the footsteps, slow and heavy, from the floor above. With growing dread, he climbed the stairs. Each creak beneath his boots echoed like a scream. The hallway was dark, lined with closed doors. At the very end, a faint light shone beneath one of them. He opened it. It was a nursery. The wallpaper had peeled away, revealing damp, crumbling plaster. A broken mobile hung above a crib too small for the room. A wooden rocking horse lay on its side, one of its eyes missing. And then, in the far corner he saw her. A tall woman in a black dress, her back to him, hair cascading like a curtain of shadow. She stood utterly still, facing the wall. Thomas froze. "Mom," she turned. Her face was pale, her eyes sunken voids, her mouth far too wide stretched into a grotesque, silent scream. And in a voice that chilled his bones, she rasped, "Why did you wake me?" The door slammed behind him. Thomas ran to it, pounded against it, but it would not open. The lantern flickered and died. Darkness swallowed him whole. He never be found from then. Only his journal and books were discovered outside the gate weeks later. The last page was smeared with mud and blood, his writing frantic and scrawled. "The house is alive, and it remembers. It keeps them. It fed on the Morvens. And now it has me." From then on, the villagers stopped calling it Blackthorn Manor. They simply called it
The Whispering House.